Hello, and welcome to Finance 102 Sales Forecasting with the inclusion of the AFN equation. Let's begin with a story. Enter friends Keenan and Vito. Vito has a very interesting story for Keenan. One day, he was napping in his yard when suddenly a giant tree sprouted out of the ground, and along with it a blue lemon, which he thought would be good for business. So he asked Keenan to be his business partner. Keenan says okay, and Vito smiles, signifying things to come, as they both start their first business. And they tried again by any means possible to create the perfect glass of lemonade. And with a few bumps, bruises, lacerations, and lots of pain, of course, Vito and Keenan somehow managed to forge the perfect formula for their lemonade. And this signified their journey to become lemonade tycoons. From here, we begin our lesson. Let's start with definitions. More on the textbook definition, which states sales forecast starts with a review of Simply put, sales forecasting has to do with Vito and Keenan predicting their sales to come and preparing for them in order to keep their customers happy, the drinks good, and the money flowing, which all in all contributes well to the growth of their business. Upon doing sales forecasting, we can ask questions like, should Keenan stockpile just a bunch or a whole truckload of these nice lemons? Or should they just fall on him, like so? Should Vito repair the lemonade stand? Or should he pay for his hospital bills after this accident right here? Please stand by. Unfortunately, those results will never see the light of day. Let's take a look at Nintendo instead for a real-world example of sales forecasting in action. The Nintendo Wii is a cool console with a cool controller, while its older brother has bare graphics and a big, cool controller. Now, the problem with the Wii was there wasn't enough to go around. And the problem with the Wii U was that there were too many to go around with. The fact is, the Wii U could only do in 6 weeks what the Wii could do in 1 week in terms of selling, and that is a drawback in sales forecasting. Now for both, there is a flaw. For the Wii, it had too little. They didn't expect it to sell, and it did sell very well, and customers had to fight over it. The Wii U, on the other hand, had high expectations. They expected to sell well, but it didn't. Now, we observe that these two are examples of weak sales forecasting, wrong decision-making. At very one scientific way to forecast is to use the AFN, formally defined as the total amount of interest-bearing debt to revolver. Keenan and Vito just walked out. They didn't like that definition. So we can use additional funds needed instead. And it basically shows us if we do need to put extra work into our business or if it's alright to slack off sometimes. And the equation is given as A minus L minus RE. A would be Vito and Keenan's predictions as to how large their stand will be, how large their company will be, and their business will be. L will be considering all the money and equipment they borrowed from their parents, and RE would be what Vito and Keenan managed to keep at the end of the day minus expenses and dividends. Now here are some examples of what could happen if we forecast the way we do. If we're too chicken, then we will get eaten up like so. And that's not very nice, as you can see. Being chicken is one thing, but being too much of a hero is another thing completely. If we make too much lemonade and there aren't enough buyers, then we might as well drown in our lemonade, and that's not very pretty. I concur. Now, of course, the main purpose of sales forecasting is this: to have enough supply for our customers, have happy customers, happy us with happy money, happy business, happy everything.